Hello, and welcome to A History of. I'm Richard, and this is Gary, and we recently went on a Viking cruise, and this is part two of the Viking cruise, and we went to Strasbourg, France. So we're just going to talk about all the things that we did in Strasbourg. And here is our schedule for the day. So the first part here is...
We were on a bus tour, and they were pointing out the fact that in this area they have lots of storks, and that they've been repopulating and stuff. That they were in a decline at one point, but that they had been coming back. So they were really pointing them out, and then at the top of a lot of the trees, couldn't quite get a good picture of them, but I think there's one right there. You can see where the storks are building their nests, and then these were the original gateways. There were like 6 towers that were part of this.
Oh yeah.
And I think we could see 1, 2. There's a third spire back there. No, there's 4 towers. So it's 1, 2, 3, and then there's another one to the right.
And these are cool. These houses that are on this canal.
Yeah.
With the water, like they could, travel in boats up to the. Although I don't think I saw anybody.
No, they have little boat tours.
Or Strasbourg.
Yeah, we're on the bridge.
And this was...
a courtyard outside the cathedral as we were making our way to the cathedral. That one.
And this is... what cathedral?
It's the Cathedral of Strasbourg. I can't remember if this is also a Notre Dame. Because there's like 58 Notre Dames in the world. But this was I think this is one of them. I think this is the first one. Because I think we saw 3. So there's Notre Dame for Strasbourg. Then we saw the one that was in, I can't remember if Speyer was the Notre Dame. But I think this was it.
Okay.
But obviously...
Gary loves all these churches and they're designed and their windows.
I have a very complicated love-hate relationship with, especially with Catholic churches. I like how art is used to express divinity. Whether it's Christian or other faiths, I think how people use art to explain the divine, I think, is impressive. Where I have a problem is with the obvious wealth and value, the amount of gold and precious materials that are used in it that could be, because I also see faith as a way to help people. And if you are hoarding wealth and it's not actually helping people, so I have a love-hate relationship with it. But it doesn't detract from the fact that I find it absolutely incredibly beautiful, and I love getting to see, especially the stained glass windows. That's I'm not a Catholic. I believe it's where somebody stands and they do speakings and stuff from there, but they're very ornate. I've only gone to like 1 or 2 actual masses in my life, and it's been so long.
And here is where they have some kind of tradition where they people touch the puppy, and it's supposed to be for luck.
I better get lots of good luck. I mean, just look at that, I'm not a fan of, like, modern art, contemporary art, but when they do stuff like this, I just find it absolutely fascinating to see.
What are you focusing on here?
I think I was trying to just get everything.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's just the massiveness of this. It's like...
And this is...
the astronomical clock. And that it tells time, but it also... It moves with the seasons and with the calendar. All the parts move. So you're seeing there's the zodiac signs built into it. The night and day. You have up there the boy and death, and there's a man figure. So it's like the life of a person changing before your eyes. So that was really fascinating.
And we just happened to get there on the the time when it moves. Those are pretty cool.
Yeah. But it's like, just look at how massive this is.
Okay, so after we visited this, and then we headed back to the boat, I was not in any mood to go back out because it was so freaking hot. I think it was in the 90s. It was hot and humid, and I was just like, I'm not going anywhere for the rest of the day. And Gary wanted to go to the the wine tasting.
Well,
so I just said, just go to the wine tasting, because I know you wanted to do that with some people that he met on the boat. So, and this is where he is. And the sad thing is, this complimentary
tasting glass
got lost.
Yeah, we had it in the room, and when we went to go pack our stuff at the end, it seemed to be gone. It was missing, yeah. So we think the cabin steward probably thought it was the ships that needed to be cleared out. So this particular winery was really amazing, though, in their they have a really great presentation. So if you ever get to go, I highly recommend it. They have see the oak barrels. They actually do a whole video presentation on them. That's really top quality in terms of like showing you the history. They do a really good job of explaining the process of making it, the history of the vineyard, also the history of this particular family that ran it, and it's a really phenomenal presentation. Totally worth doing. And then you got to try a whole bunch of different whites. What kind of sucked was that they assumed that people prefer the reds. So they had one red that they made as their finale, and I would have rather had gotten that out of the way first and enjoyed the whites through the rest of the trip.
Is that what it is? They think most people like red wine?
Most people like reds. Most people prefer it, and it's kind of annoying because I don't. Yeah. And I
don't like wine at all. That
was the appealing part of this particular trip, is that most of the places we went to, it's all they gave us were whites.
And now after the wine tasting,
we went to this little village, and I cannot remember how to pronounce the name of it. But it was really cute. We got to walk through it and just explore. I think because of the heat, we were supposed to go and actually walk through a vineyard. And so I think this was the alternative, which I kind of liked. Because we're still walking through the heat, but this gave people a chance to do some shopping and go into shops and maybe beat the heat. And so people got to enjoy that. It's a really cool village. It had, you can see it's pretty intact, and especially for the fortifications and stuff. So to see that kind of a medieval town. Yeah. Oh, they were telling us this story about this father who didn't like his daughter because she was blind, and he sent her away, and his son went and found her. She had been miraculously cured of her blindness, and her son found out and brought her back. And because her son brought her back, even though the dad didn't want, his son brought her back, even though he didn't want the daughter, the dad killed the son. I know, it's this really brutal thing, right? So it was funny because, in this town, they actually have, it's not this well, but there's a fountain with a statue dedicated to that daughter. We learned about these trees. These were where, when we see these lines of trees, this is where moats were. I could have sworn I had a picture. This is me just trying to beat the heat. I went back early.
Went back to the bus early?
I went back. I mean, I got not too early, like maybe like 5-10 minutes early. I was just like, okay, I've walked. It really was. I mean, we're now looking at like 7-8 o'clock, right? It was late. The sun is still bright out, and it was still hot and humid.
What's that on your head?
That is, my aunt gave me one of those cooling rags that's you're supposed to get wet, and it's supposed to activate and get you cool. So
that was is this supposed to be the American flag?
On the other side.
Oh, okay.
So it's all blue field on one side. So they'd given us a bottle of water, so I got it wet like you're supposed to do. It didn't really help that much. I don't know whether it's just that it didn't work, or whether it's just that it was just too hot and humid.
We got hail.
I feel like we're back home.
That is so cool.
Yeah, that won't do much damage. Not until it's gone.
Once again, I like to feature different types of beverages in other countries. This Sprite, I think it was actually made in Germany. It's very different than the one we get in the States. This one is more lemony, less sweet. Okay.
Yep. I'm gonna videotape.
I love how that term still stays. I'm gonna videotape.
Yeah. Yeah, they love me. I'm trying to catch some of the lightning. He's like, okay, the boys want to show.
But that's what I wanted when I was taking a picture, recording out the window of the hail. I was hoping that would be some lightning, but it didn't.
Now the lightning's all up in the clouds. I'm picking that up, but it's not, you're not actually seeing. I'm seeing the light, not the actual strikes.
Yeah. So everybody's just afraid to come out here tonight? Last night they were all out, coming out, hanging out. It's because it's too wet.
Yep.
They're hanging out in the lounge. Wait, wasn't there something you wanted to see?
It's at 9.
It's 9:15.
Oh, okay. So then we would need to go down.
Thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like all the lightning is now out there, but it's all behind the cloud cover. I'm gonna stop recording, and then of course all the lightning is gonna strike.
Yep. Well, that's it. That is part 2 of our Viking cruise through Europe. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and click subscribe. You can check out other videos here and here. See you on the next, The History of. Bye.
Bye.